Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S21 and see how this phone holds up in the middle part of 2023. Now, I probably would tell you this phone is still worth buying for the most part. I think the S22 may have been a better phone in some ways, and the S23 is out now too. But the S21, still a great phone, still is holding up very well. And the more this phone ages, the better I feel like a deal this thing is, which is so crazy. Now, the first thing I'd recommend telling you on the outside, the body still looks pretty good. It's a 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display on the front. It's 1080p, which isn't the highest resolution, but it's still a fairly good looking display, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. You are getting a hole punch display, which is really nice, and it's 120Hz. So this panel itself doesn't really look that far off from something like the Samsung Galaxy S23, if I'm being honest. So that is something that's kind of interesting to think about. You're getting USB Type-C on the bottom, you're getting a very good feeling siding of this phone, but on the back, this is where things get very, very weird. I don't know why Samsung did this. They put a plastic back on this device, which again, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't think it's like the deal breaker or anything like that, but it is a really, really weird thing that they ended up doing. And I feel like they would have been just way better off had they maintained that glass back on this type of device. They did end up bringing it back with the next generations, but that's been the thing that kind of threw me off with this phone. But it's weird because everything else on this phone is actually pretty decent, and it's actually holding up fairly well from that perspective. You're getting wireless reverse wireless charging, IP certification, but you're also getting that triple camera setup, which is beautiful. The camera on this thing just gets a thumbs up for me times 20. It is a very solid camera, and even now and probably in the next 2-3 years, it is still going to be holding up very, very well. Samsung knocks it out of the park with their cameras sometimes, and recently in the last couple years, they've been just non-stop, just knocking it out, and this is no exception. Now moving on to the other area, we all know the camera's good, but the software of this phone has actually been improving quite a bit as well. And this is something that, again, will probably throw a lot of people off, but One UI has been making massive improvements, and no longer is stock Android the best version of Android. I think One UI is definitely up there, and it's funny, I never thought I would say something like that, but One UI is definitely a device software that's been getting improved year after year after year, and that is something that is so beautiful to think about. And personally for me, if Samsung can just go and increase the software longevity one more time, if they can just add another year of software update on top of these devices that are currently supported, I think that would be insane, and that would definitely put devices like the Samsung Galaxy S21 in a very, very good spot. So that is going to be something that I'm very interested to see in the future as well. Performance-wise, this phone is a very good performing phone as well. It's decent. I mean, you have that Snapdragon 888 chipset inside, and you're getting 8 gigs of RAM. It's a very decent performing device just from that perspective. And like I mentioned, when you're getting a phone like the Galaxy S21, you're still getting a phone that's still supported with software, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be supported with software, but the performance is still very decent. I know a lot of Android gaming handheld, devices that actually do have that 888 chipset inside, and the performance on those ones are very solid as well. So I say that to say, and the battery life is pretty good too. All my battery comparison tests I've done, they've been making this phone pretty decent in that perspective. So to kind of sum it up, what I'll tell you is, I definitely do think the S21 is still a very solid pickup from that perspective. I think it's still worth buying for the most part. It may not be the first phone I would recommend people to buy, but it's up there. I would say the Pixel 6 is a good phone to buy. The S21 is pretty equivalent to it. And maybe if I want to throw an iPhone, like an iPhone 11 Pro, but those devices I think are very solid, and I would 100% recommend buying them as well. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.